Oh my gosh, I knew you could do it. Look at you.
Oh, I love it so much.
And I've got bourbon.
Hey, listen, all of y'all that dressed up, I want you to take a headshot of yourselves, a selfie, so that we can, and send it to us so we can put it on our Facebook page.
I love it.
Really?
Candy, you look great too. Candy's got some hair action. I like it.
Where's Candy? Candy's
It's a great bow.
Yes. I thought that
it.
the bow would be Southern.
Oh my God, Candy. You look like Minnie Mouse.
Y'all are awesome.
Oh, heavens. Who knew that the Old South would be the one to trigger your creativity? Or maybe it was the bourbon, the promise of bourbon.
Well, Ross Bridge and all their great team.
I guess what we need to do is have a prize package to give away every week. That's what
I know. Yeah, it's a pretty great prize package, you guys. We're excited about that. We wanted to encourage some attendance too.
Well, I think it worked.
Kimberly, is that your family's crest that you showed, Kimberly Bean? Oh, you're muted.
Kimberly, come on. Let's see what you got.
I love it. You were muted. Is that your family, your husband's crest?
Yes, Clan McBean.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Is that a made-up crest or is that for real?
No, it's for real. He's a member. He's a member.
McBean, okay.
That's awesome. I wonder if you knew like many people from the Ross clan. We're
Could
not
have been.
you, but you know.
Could have
back in
been.
the day.
Yes, back in the day.
Hopefully they weren't fighting clans. Too funny.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
Hey, Scott. Scott has a tie. Good.
Wow.
Good job, Scott.
Yeah, I haven't worn a tie in at least 2 months.
Well, then we give you full credit.
Nice. Did you do that just for us?
Absolutely.
That's pretty fantastic.
Thank you, Shannon.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, as people are starting to join in, we'll say hello to everyone. Thanks for being here again. Trying to see if there's anybody brand new to these calls. I think all of you have been here before. Just speak up if you haven't been on one of our Wednesday calls before, and please introduce yourself and tell us where you are, where you're from, and what company you're with.
Anybody new?
Hi, I'm Amy Hudson with the Birmingham CVB.
Hey, Amy.
Hey, Amy.
We love Amy.
Hi there.
She's our partner.
Yes, Shannon invited me, and you all look wonderful.
We're here to celebrate Alabama today.
I know, I love it. Thank you. And you all are doing it so well.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who hasn't been with us before?
I haven't. This is Candy.
Candy, yeah. Hey, Candy, welcome.
Thanks. Yeah, I haven't joined the calls, but I've numerous events.
And I haven't been on a call yet either.
Kathy, you haven't. Well,
No.
you're setting the bar awfully high for future participation. I must say.
Hey, this
Got
is
my
Carol
bourbon
Knoll.
recipe, right?
Carol?
Can you, okay, I'm on my phone. My laptop has crashed. So
We can
I
see
just want to
you.
make sure that I'm good.
You're good.
Okay.
Kathy West, why don't you tell everybody where you're from and what company you're with?
Hi, I'm Kathy West. I'm from Johns Creek, Georgia, and my company is Bravura. And I've known Miss Shannon since they opened the resort.
Yes, she has. She's brought many meetings to our resort. We thank you for that, Kathy.
I love Ross Bridge.
Thank you.
All right, just a little bit of housekeeping here. If those of you, if you haven't been on 1,000 Zoom calls already, then I will kind of give you an overview of the software for those who aren't familiar with it. Just a real quick one. Up in the right-hand corner, you'll see a little grid or a little other thing, and it'll say either gallery view or speaker view. You can change your own. When they get into the presentation, you might want to change it to speaker view so you'll So that screen will be really large and you'll see what they're showing us. Down at the bottom, in the middle, you'll see a little chat box, and that's just like texting. So if you will click on the chat, you'll see that to the side, and we can message each other. You can, if you have a question, you can pose it here. If you have a suggestion, whatever you want to type, you can also type to people individually. So you can talk behind all of our backs while you're doing that.
I would encourage it.
Nice.
That's right. And let's see whatever else. And then you can do your reactions if you want to do little emoticons like a thumbs up or a smiley face or whatever. It's really up to you. I think that's about it. Carol, do you want to say anything before we
Well,
get?
we did encourage people, and I think we're going to keep doing this. We did encourage people to send us their own recipes and recommendations for, you know, the kind of music you like that's based in the South, and comfort food recipes and whatever books and movies you like. So anybody that brought that with them, if you'll put it in the chat box, we'll add it to what we put on our website, and it'll be archived for people in the future to enjoy. And I think that Kathy West, because she is all in this week, provided what has got to be probably the most lethal cocktail recipe I've ever seen. Involves gallons of liquor. I don't know how she did that, but
And it's wonderful.
it's going up in the chat box, right? Or I think she maybe sent it to Whitney. She's gonna put it up. Okay.
Yes.
Woo.
I'm gonna do it right here.
All right, so you guys can enjoy that if and when we ever gather again in large groups, because it would take a large group to devour this much bourbon.
Or would it? How many hotel people would it take, Carol? So.
Oh, only half as many of regular people.
Okay.
All right. It's not
Sorry.
letting me copy and paste in here, so I gotta do it another way, and I will get that out to you in just a minute. It's also good for starting large fires. If anybody needs.
You're funny.
All right, and here it comes. Okay, so we can get started whenever. Shannon, you want to take it away?
That's awesome. I'd be glad to. Well, first of all, we just want to thank Carol and Whitney for having us. I think this is just such a great idea, and it's been a lot of fun watching all of your other destinations. And it was kind of funny watching your other destinations too, because I was thinking, wow, Puerto Rico, London, New York. Of course, you're going to think Alabama, right? Alabama has to be next.
Popping right into our heads.
Exactly. But you know what? That's what's so great about this time with you. It's the unexpected. And what we want you to do is we want you to discover something different about Alabama and even Birmingham today. We like to say that Alabama will surprise you, and Rossbridge is definitely the unexpected. First of all, I want to just let you know, if I haven't met you before, my name is Shannon Johnson. I'm one of the sales managers at Rossbridge. And typically I cover the Southeast destinations. And you know what? Now that there's been this thing called coronavirus, I don't know what I cover anymore. But you know, our whole team is there to help you. Right now, I'm working at the front desk. I'm answering the phone. I'm doing a little bit of everything, but I'm still here to book your groups. But I've been with the hotel for 15 years. I was there pre-opening, along with Laura Chappell, who you're going to meet in just a little bit, our assistant director of sales. She's been there the whole time as well. Jonathan Mckinney, our director of sales and marketing, also known as your bartender today. He's been with us for the past 10 years. So you're going to get to meet them and hear from them in just a minute. But I'm glad that I'm the one that gets to kick this off with you, because I love this property so much. This property is part of an 8 property collection, if you will. We're located all in the state of Alabama, and each property runs along the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail. And if you haven't heard of Rossbridge, maybe you've heard of the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, or even PCH hotels in general. 2 of our properties that a lot of you have used before, the Grand Hotel, which is an autographed property in Point Clear. That's one of our sister properties, as well as the Battle House in Mobile. So that's just 2 of the properties that we have. All 8 of us, you guys, were very different. We all have our own unique flavor and our own unique attributes, but we're all just one of the same company. We're all Marriott branded. And again, we run along that Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail. Now, PCH is part of what we call the RSA, and that's the Retirement Systems of Alabama. And our founding executive director is Dr. David Bronner. And if you don't know that name, I challenge you to write that down and Google it later for a great human interest story. He literally founded the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail and all 8 of our properties to create tourism in the state of Alabama and to also bring more income and more money into the retirement systems of Alabama for educators and first responders. So right off the bat, we've got a different mission than just making money. One, we really care about creating tourism in our state, and we care about taking care of the people of Alabama. And I like to think that that makes us a little different and maybe makes us a little warmer, and we're excited just to see you. And it's just, we feel like we have a bigger purpose, and that carries over into the way that we treat people, I hope. Hopefully, if you visited us, you feel that too. But when it came to building Ross Bridge in 2004, it was the first time that PCH had the opportunity to build the resort and the golf course at the same time. So when they looked for land, they found a great big mass amount of land in Birmingham, and they decided this is where that they were going to build Ross Bridge Resort. They didn't know they were going to call it that, but they started researching the land. And this is where the Scottish castle comes in, okay? And just real quick, I don't know if you can see behind me, I am coming to you today from one of the beautiful balconies of our guest room, overlooking some of this land that they developed into a golf course, 2 putting greens right there, practice greens. You'll hear more about that in just a moment. But you guys, all of this land that we sit on used to belong to the Ross family, and they came over from Scotland in the mid-1800s. Now, this is your history lesson, but don't worry, it's not going to take a long time. If you want to know the whole history, message me, and I will send that to you, because if you're a history buff, there's great information here. But the Ross family came over in the mid-1800s, and they became some of Birmingham's most prominent citizens. They were bankers, and they were lawyers, and they were school teachers in the area. And we like to think that we pay tribute to them because we've named our restaurants out of them. I don't know if they would think that's great, but we kept the name too. It's the Ross Bridge Resort. But there's even a Ross Bridge that was built during that time, that the walking trails from Ross Bridge will take you all down there, and it's got a great park too. But anyway, when they were building, they thought, let's make this a castle. And if you look at the Ross Castle in Scotland, there's so many similarities. It's kind of cool. The Ross family also came from Texas, where their last known descendants were, to come to us on our grand opening, which was a kind of cool thing. But we tried to keep a whole Scottish castle in the South, Phil. We felt that that would just be a fun tribute to the people who were here before us, and it gave the property a little bit of personality too. The golf course is built completely around the resort. It's the 5th longest golf course in the world. Super excited about that. And every single day at sunset, there's a bagpipe player that'll play for an hour, just kind of ushers in just this beautiful sunset night, and just really brings a great close to your day. So what we like to say is we're a different property. For some of you, we weren't on your radar at all until you got this invitation today. And maybe it was the prize that you thought, I don't know where that is, but I'd like to go play golf or get a spa massage or something like that. So I'm going to join them today. But we like to say that we're something different. We're definitely the unexpected, like I said earlier. We do find that we're one of those properties that when you plan an event here, your attendees usually come back and say to you, how in the world did you find that place? And, you know, can we go back? Because it is something different. Many of you, because you're familiar faces, you were with us when we hosted the Site Southeast Summit in 2017. And last year, we were honored and privileged to be able to host the FICP Summer Annual Forum. So we love getting a lot of, I guess, a lot of you who haven't experienced us before to some of those events. So you'll know that, you know, we're a property that's different. We're a property that's proven. We've been around 15 years now, but we're still new to so many people. So as Laura starts to talk to you about some of the specifics and the numbers and the amount of people that we can do and that kind of thing, and she starts showing you some pictures, what we want to remind you of is some of the people that we compete against. If you have used the Ritz-Carlton Reynolds, if you've used Renaissance Vinoy, Chateau Elan, Barton Creek, even Sawgrass, those are the properties that we compete against regularly. If you're using them, you could use us. And that's something that we want you to think about the whole time when Laura's talking to you. If you're using those properties, start thinking, maybe I could send my people there. It would be something new and something different. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to my friend and Assistant Director of Sales, Laura Chappell.
guys.
Laura?
So, I'm going to show you a little bit of where I'm standing, and then I'm going to go inside to show you the rest of the resort. But I am out here on JT's Terrace. So that's the pool. Can y'all guys see that? Like, would you like to be there right now?
Yes.
I would love to be there. I would like to have a cocktail in my hand. So that's the pool. I'm going to pan around a little bit so you can see our terrace. It's one of the most popular spots to do functions. And now I'm going to walk you back inside where it's a little quieter because we do have music by the pool right now, so it's a little distracting. But I will tell you as I walk, I found a Zoom trick that I did not know about. You can, instead of muting and unmuting yourself over and over again, I don't know if you guys have found that a challenge. You can leave yourself on leave yourself on mute and press the space bar when you want to talk. What? I know. So that has changed my life because sometimes I'll forget that I'm muted and I'll start talking and nobody can hear me. So I am going to share my screen and we will get started. Okay, so this is only like 6 minutes long, so do not fall asleep. We're gonna get through this and then I'm gonna turn you over to our bartender who we did not have to twist his arm to do that, but this is Ross Bridge. So when I do a lot of presentations around the country and I always start off with how many people think they are not going to book their incentive or their meeting at Ross Bridge because they do not have meetings that go to Alabama? And I swear 80% of the people raise their hands and they look like they're going to tune out. And then I say, oh, okay, so have you ever used or thought about using the Greenbrier? And I would say maybe 75 people have said, I've used the Greenbrier, I've thought about using it, I've sourced it. And I'm like, oh, okay, because you have incentives or meetings that go to West Virginia? And they're like, no, it's good. We're just going to the Greenbrier. So it's the same thing. So I'm just asking if you will keep an open mind through this and not necessarily think, what do I have that would go to Alabama? But like Shannon said, think of our competitive set, Omni Barton Creek, Marriott Sawgrass, Renaissance Vinoy, even some properties out on the West Coast if you're just looking for a great resort destination. What I know is you're going to fall in love with us, but then you're going to have to sell us to an internal client. So either your board of directors, your CEO, your meeting owner, there could be some resistance. So just as a reminder, you're not necessarily selling Alabama first, you're selling Ross Bridge and also Birmingham, which I will talk about in a second. But I think all of you guys know where we are, but just in case, we're right in the center of the state. You can see that's the trail, the golf trail that Shannon talked about, where that R is. We're right in the middle. We're such a central location, especially for driving, which is appealing right now in these crazy times. If people want to drive from the southeast, we're very easy to do that. We are 2 hours directly west of Atlanta and 3 hours south of Nashville. So if you ever have trouble getting into those cities, we are a great alternative to that. And that's our backyard. I literally look out the backyard, like Shannon said, 5th longest golf course in the world. So that's a claim to fame. We've had some senior PGA tours. So if you ever have any groups that mention golf, we are up there with the best in golf. Scottish Castle, just weird Scottish Castle in the south, but it's cool and it's just memorable. When people have events here, they remember meeting at that castle in the south, which is what you want. You want them to talk about the event later, and that definitely happens with us. This is the lobby. So when you walk in, we look historic, but we're a new build. We were built from the ground up in 2005. Shannon and I both opened the hotel. We'll never leave. We're going to die here.
Right.
But that is a testament to this property and PCH and RSA. We love our company. We love this hotel. And yeah, so anyway, so when you walk in the lobby, hopefully you won't find our dead bodies on a film. Hopefully we will still be alive. So when you walk in, see that square right there, we can shine a gobo with a company logo there. So immediately you start with the branding, which makes it really nice. There's a lot of wood in the hotel, which just makes it just very warm and friendly. A lot of the newer hotels have you know, the muted colors, which are pretty, but it can feel sort of sterile. So it's just nice to have that warm, cozy feel when you walk in. This, you can see the guest rooms there. We have 259 guest rooms. Every room has a balcony. And we have just lots. That's where I was sitting at JT's Terrace right there. And then the fire pits, if we were on a real fam, we'd do s'mores tonight around the fire pits and adult hot chocolate. And then we might do a little dinner out here on the clubhouse terrace. We have a lot of little nooks and crannies. And one thing I like about our property is a lot of the resorts we compete against have like villas and wings and lanais, and they're all spread out and built more for leisure travel, where we really were built for that corporate networking incentive where you want to keep everybody together, which is the whole reason you're bringing people to a resort anyway. You can see the pool. We just saw that. What I think is remarkable here is just you can get a good view of what the landscape looks like. We are in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains, and it just means we're super like green and woodsy and hilly. Everybody, like especially outside of the South, are just surprised how green and hilly it is, and it's just gorgeous. Our high season is spring and fall, just because that's the best weather, and then summer weekends. And then meeting space, you can look all of that up online. Just know we have a 10,000 square foot ballroom and breakouts. The terrace I showed you, we could do some really interesting sets. That's the terrace just set two different ways. You can see it looks very different. That's a bagpipe player that Shannon mentioned. That particular bagpipe player, that's Jim. He does it most of the time, and you'll find him in the bar drinking scotch afterwards. You can take his picture. He loves doing it every day of the year, and he can play for a group too. We have lawn games. You can see the spa. We'd be having a massage after this if only you were here. We have 10 treatment rooms, separate men and women's quiet room, jacuzzi, just great lounging areas. We have bikes that you can take out around the neighborhood. But best of all, we do not charge a resort fee. So that is huge. So I would just say our value, that all of my clients say their money just goes so much further than it does at other places. And if you have a big budget, you can just use that extra money on, you know, more awards or room drops or entertainment. So it's just, you just get so much better value than other places. And then, so I've said you're not selling Alabama, but Birmingham is a really cool city and everybody falls in love with it. But we don't want you to move here because we like it. But you can bring your tourism and your meeting dollars here. But it is an undiscovered secret. The cost of living is great, and we just have a lot of really cool things going on. A few years ago, the award for the James Beard Award for the best restaurant in the United States was a restaurant in Birmingham, Alabama, not New York, Chicago, Miami, Birmingham. And it was Highlands Bar and Grill. This year we have another restaurant, Automatic Seafood, is up for the same award. So we are a foodie town, but it's more affordable. Then you can get so like amazing food that would cost twice as much in New York, in Birmingham. The top left-hand corner, that's old mining land. Birmingham was founded as a mining town, as a steel town. We were called the Magic City because we just grew up so fast overnight. And there's a lot of old mining land, and that was turned into Red Mountain Adventure Park. It's twice the size of Central Park, and it's great team building. It's about 5 minutes from Ross Bridge, zip lines, ropes courses, climbing, all sorts of fun stuff. The motorcycles, that is a museum. It's the Barber Motorsports Park and Museum, and it houses the largest collection of vintage motorcycles in the world. And the track is home to the Porsche Sport Driving School, which for your small high-end incentives, that is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Driving you can do a 1-day course, 2-day or 3-day course out at the track, and it truly is, you know, once in a lifetime. It's very memorable. Last slide. This is just an overview of what we look like. You can just see again the terrace, the pool, our setting. It's just something really special. And so it feels like we're like sort of out in the middle of nowhere, but we're less than 20 minutes from an international airport. So Birmingham Airport, 20 minutes away, all the restaurants, all the things. Like most resorts we compete with are pretty far outside of a major metropolitan area. So, and I mean, I know it's cliche, but we really do have the best of both worlds. Like we are remote and it feels like you've gotten away, but then we're really close to everything too. And then I'll just hit some, this is what I'd love for you to remember when you remember all of this stuff to memory. But just your takeaway is just our convenience, the value. We are a 4-diamond property. We've, all the awards, that we're something different. People is sort of been there, done that. A lot of people have been to the same resorts over and over again. And this is really something most people haven't been to. And then, like Shannon said, just the properties we compete with, the Grove Park Inn, the JW San Antonio, the Renaissance Vinoy, the Ritz Reynolds, Chateau Alon, JW Star Pass. If you have sourced any of those, or if your meeting owner mentions any of those, we would love for you just to throw us in the mix because we're something really special. So I know now you're ready to drink. After every PowerPoint, I'm ready to drink. So I'm going to turn this over to Jonathan Mckinney, who is your bartender for the rest of the presentation.
Oh, Joanne.
Well done, Laura.
Ready.
All right, everybody. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's good. Okay, perfect. I want to thank everybody for this opportunity. I'm getting to live out this is my bucket list item. All right. So they don't let me behind the bar. I'm not in a bar. I'm in our wine cellar right now. At one point last summer, I was here on a Saturday just trying to get some work done. Our pool bar got slammed. I was called back behind the bar to help make some drinks for folks. And after I began to pour every drink like everybody was my closest neighbor, which means I just kind of over-poured it a little bit, everybody was lined back up at the bar ready to come on board. And my food and beverage director said, my liquor costs are through the roof. Why were you down there? So we have, anyway, I'm really excited to be with you guys today. We're going to talk about one of my favorite things, some great cocktails. And I think we sent you guys the recipe. This is the Mckinney Sweet Tea Old Fashioned. So it's a soulful Southern twist on a classic cocktail. Now let's talk just a little bit about bourbon before we get started. So we're going to be using this whiskey today. This is Clyde May's whiskey. This is actually the official whiskey of Alabama. So just a little history here. Clyde May was a World War II veteran. When he got back home from the war, he started making his own whiskey right in his backyard. In his backyard, he had apple orchards, and so he would put a little bit of apple rind in the whiskey barrels themselves that gave it just a little distinct hint of apple. And so the interesting thing is that Clyde May, his whiskey still business didn't go on for too long before he was caught by the sheriff down in Connecticut County, Alabama. And after spending a couple of years in prison, Clyde had shared his whiskey with every deputy and the sheriff of Connecticut County. When he got out of prison, the sheriff just told him, listen, just keep it under the radar and everything will be all right. And so this whiskey has been passed throughout Alabama for the last 50 plus years. And 2 years ago, it became the official spirit of the state of Alabama. So that's one Alabama product we're going to be using today. For our sweet tea, we're also going to be using Milos Sweet Tea. Now, Milos is actually a fantastic, another Birmingham-based company, and really just 3 simple ingredients: some sugar, some tea, and something else, but it is mostly sugar, all right? And so if anybody, like Kathy, is it Kathy West, is that right?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, love that cocktail. I think if I had had any of that punch that you had made, I would not be able to, I'm standing up right now, I would not be able to stand up if I had had that punch, but it looks fantastic.
It's delicious.
So here's what we're gonna do, all right? To make this cocktail, you're gonna start out with 2 dashes of, this is just Angostura bitters. You can choose the aromatic bitters of your choice, but these were developed back in the early 1800s. This was actually a tonic, And if you ever taste these just straight up, you'll understand that this would cure whatever was ailing you. This possibly could be the cure for coronavirus. I just don't think anybody has tested that out yet. But so we're going to take our cocktail glass and we're going to do 2 dashes of bitters. 1, 2. I do not like a ton of bitters in my drink, so I'm just keeping it to 2 right there. All right. So now we're going to take a little bit of your sweet tea. I'm just going to pour a couple of ounces of sweet tea into the glass. And lastly, now your classic old-fashioned starts out with muddling bitters and sugar. And again, let me promise you, this sweet tea has enough sugar to kill most, mighty men out there. But it is fantastic. All right, so now we're going to take your whiskey of choice. All right, so take your whiskey of choice. Now, I do not have a pour or anything like that. Again, I pour whiskey as if I was pouring it for myself. So we make it a little bit strong on this today. And I would like just to take this moment of opportunity just to say thank you for all you people that are here. Oh, I'm still pouring. All right, we're still pouring and we're good. We're going to keep pouring a little bit, maybe a little bit more. Boom, it's all good. All right, so, and now what we're going to do, get an orange, and we're just going to get a quick peel of that orange, all right? So the orange just gives it a lot of flavor and something that makes it presentation worthy as well. So you want to get a nice orange peel. So once that happens, what you're going to do there, you're going to twist that orange peel. That gives you didn't see this, but there were some oils that just kind of escaped, and I promise you they're there, but you're just kind of releasing that aromatic in. You want to go once around the rim of the glass, and then you want to go in. And now we're going to take some ice. I got a block of ice. I like a block of ice for my old-fashioned. And so we're going to take that block of ice, dip it in the glass. Ooh, that's full. And I'm going to stir that around. If you've got multiple little ice cubes, that's all good. But if you can find one good ice cube to go for you, this is where it's at. So this is your old-fashioned. This is your Mckinney's sweet tea old-fashioned here. You guys have been fantastic. Again, this is a great drink on the fly. You can make that. You can put this in your refrigerator and have it already pre-mixed, ready to go for guests to come over, or just ready to go when you get home any day from doing whatever you got going on. So let me just share this. As the Director of Sales and Marketing at Renaissance Sloss Furnace, it is such a privilege for me to be able to drive to work. And if I'm talking to my wife or my mom or my father or whoever I'm talking to on the way in, I always just share with them, hey, I've got to let you go. I'm at the castle. And my dad one day just said to me, son, do you know how many people have the opportunity to share that every morning? And I said, I've never thought of it that way. But we have a great privilege of being here at Ross Bridge. What makes it so much fun and what hurts our hearts so much right now is the thing that's so much fun about this industry, and specifically about being here at Ross Bridge, is that we get to serve folks like you. We get to serve you. We get to serve the groups that you represent as well. And so, we are really, really continuing to try to relearn what new normal looks like. I understand that's where you guys are as well. And we really want to be the pioneers to get us out of what we're in right now. We know that it's going to take leadership. We know it's going to take really all of us working together. But we really can't wait to be able to serve you and your groups again very, very soon at Ross Bridge, as soon as we can. And so we're open, but again, I understand a lot of people have a lot of different fears and all different things going on related to this current pandemic, but we're doing everything that we can to make sure our ambassadors are safe as well as our guests. But we really do thank you guys for joining us and allowing us to share a little bit about Ross Bridge. I think we've got some questions, and so Shannon Johnson, I'm going to throw it back over to you, and we're going to get into this Q&A.
That's fantastic. Well, most of the questions were really what to do with the bourbon, Jonathan. So, we need to drink it over ice. Kevin, thank you for reminding us of that. That is a very good point. Mike Greta reminds us not to ever mix Pappy with anything, because that would be a sin. And it really would. My husband tells me that. You don't do that. But my
And I
favorite,
would share this, that I'm going to actually go ahead and set the bottle down because I have been deathly afraid. Plug yourself will do something and this will end up on the ground.
that's
So if you have,
perfect.
let's see, I'm just going to put this right
That's
here.
perfect.
All
Well,
right, so
just know my favorite comment about bourbon, though, is from Whitney. And Whitney just wanted us all to know that if you add fruit to it, we can drink it for breakfast. So it's a breakfast. Whitney, you've got the COVID thing like figured out. But real quick, I will say one of the questions we had was how many rooms do we have? And that is a great question. Laura covered that. 259 rooms. Something we didn't focus on, but that's really, really important that I don't believe a lot of hotels do. We will give you the whole castle. So we've had groups that do buyouts and you can have the whole castle to yourself. And you guys, there's something really special that happens when one group comes in and everything is about that one group. The branding can be off the chain crazy. It's just super fun. So that might be something that's a little different. If there are any other questions, you can put those in now and we'll talk about those. But yes, Tina, we will gladly share our presentation. Thank you so much. We'll do that. I do want to thank Amy Hudson from the Birmingham CVB for being here. Amy, thank you. You guys, we've got a great CVB team that helps sell us. So when you come to Rossbridge, you would be partnered with a CVB that would help you experience some of those things that Laura talked about in our presentation, just so that you can experience the Magic City a little bit more. And yes, Kimberly, in the comments, no resort fees, no amenity fees, parking is free. And to Laura's point, if you are looking for a value resort for an incentive, this is a great place. If you think about regionally, you know, a lot of things are going to change, like Jonathan mentioned earlier. We all know that. So for your groups that can't maybe travel as far or want to keep something under $200, or this reminds me, unfortunately, about the downturn. And in 2009, we had to find ways to creatively market our resort. And we became extremely popular because we had all the great amenities, but we didn't raise any eyebrows because we were in Alabama and Birmingham. So a lot of those expense reports are going to be looked at a second and third time now. So remember Rossbridge for one of those options that is not going to be a red, you know, it's not going to cause red flags when you say. And yes, we will. Thank you, Laura. Laura, do you have anything else to add? Maybe questions or comments that we didn't cover?
I mean, the only thing when you were talking about Amy and the CVB, so I'm a member of FICP, which is the Financial and Insurance Conference Planners, and they chose us, as Shannon mentioned, for their summer educational forum, and some other places they've been are Vancouver, DC, my mind is blank, but all the major cities. And so the person in charge of choosing us had to say on the stage, so when we were in Vancouver, they were doing the presentation, this is where we're going next year. There was a big reveal. And somebody said, you know, why did you choose Rossbridge? Because they hadn't been here yet and they were just curious. And the planner said, you know, one of the reasons was the involvement of the city. They just felt like the city was really on board and was so helpful with planning offsite activities and just the warmth of feeling embraced by not only the resort, but the vendors were easy to work with. They said it was just an easy meeting to plan because we're a smaller city and people were more flexible. So just wanted to bring that up too.
Good question. We had another question about the ballroom from Kevin. Kevin, our ballroom is 10,000 square feet. It does break down into 8 different sections. But in addition to that ballroom, we've got 6 breakout rooms and 2 boardrooms and some outdoor space too. Our breakout rooms range from 700 square feet to right at 800.
Anyone who hasn't done a buyout at Rossbridge, I mean to tell you, it is magical. It's wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you. It's about time you come back, Kathy.
Yes, it is.
That's great. February and March timeframe. You know, February is still somewhat of a need time for us, Kevin. March gets into our busier season. It's actually been quite, it compares a lot to October with the last couple of years and the better days. when you think about that good golf weather, springtime is great in Alabama, very similar to Atlanta. So I think a more need time would be that January, February. Your rates are going to still be great and under 200 most likely in March. Any other questions?
We did have a question. Whitney just mentioned it. She said it sounds like you might be a great locale to do some dine-arounds and off-sites, and that is absolutely true. We can do some really fun dine-arounds with we have just a lot of independent restaurants that are award-winning. There's a couple of companies here that do tours. They do civil rights tours. So if you're ever interested in the history and the civil rights history, that's a really interesting tour. There's a brewery tour for all our breweries. There's a foodie tour with barbecue. I think there's even one called like Breweries and Barbecues. Brewery. Yeah, brewery. And I haven't been drinking yet. But we do, yes. There are a lot of fun things. I had a group last year that fell in love with Sloss Furnace, which is an old furnace that is now a historic and a working artist foundation. So they have steel working artists out there, and so you can do a tour, and then you get to pour a little keepsake to take home. So the company, they had them do their logo in a little coin, so everybody got to tour this historic facility and then do the pour and then get to take that home. That was really cool too. Mm-hmm.
And I'm also starting hand sanitizing tours here in Birmingham. So we will sanitize hands, and we'll do that all day long, and you'll be fantastic and good to go. Nice. And Kathy, by the way, those flowers behind you are fantastic. That's beautiful. So love the hat. You got the pearls. I mean, man, you got it going on. So that's great.
You guys, we have one other question from Barbara and Nindo's. She asked about CSR. And we partner with a lot of companies in the Southeast, people who can come over to Birmingham. We can do just about anything. But one of my favorites that's here locally grown is called Cheerioticals. And they are about, I would say, 30 minutes from the resort. This family started a program where you can pack boxes of art activities, toys, and things like that for children who are staying at Children's Hospital. So they provide the toys, the packaging, and everything, and you can choose people from your area to go and deliver them. And it's not just packing boxes either. If you want to find a way to do things like a trivia contest or a scavenger hunt, ways to earn the prizes so it becomes kind of team building along with the CSR, they'll do that too. But it's a really good cause, and they, again, partner with Children's Hospital. That's one of my favorite. Laura, can you think of another one that's local, or Jonathan?
I mean, I know that we, people have done some things at different food banks. Mm-hmm. The Cheerioticals is just popular because it's easy, because you don't want to do something that is going to be too complicated or too hard, and so it's a great way to give back, but doing it in a fun, non-complicated, easy way. So it's been super popular. But we could definitely find other things too. We have a local DMC who will work with you, like, do you want to go off site? Do you want to stay on site? How long is it going to be? And that sort of thing.
And we've done Habitat for Humanity. We've got an office here that can help you with that. And I was thinking too, there's another group locally that partners with fixing up like local underprivileged schools, playgrounds, and things like that. So if you want something more outdoors, we can do that too. Any other questions? All right. So who wants to come to Alabama? Right, me too. I know, I'm here. All right.
Shannon, on behalf of Whitney and I just want to thank you and your team, Jonathan and Laura. What an engaging presentation. And we didn't know what to expect, but you engaged everybody in a way that most people don't. And so my hat's off to you. You're charming and informative and gracious, and you really made this a special presentation. So
Carol, thank you. Thanks, you Carol. So much. We appreciate that.
Cheers to all of you. Great job.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Well, I hear now that we need to announce a winner. Is that right?
Yes. Have you had a chance to collaborate with Kelly Mack? She's on
We
the
have. We have
and-
collaborated. She's actually, and first, I just think it's so awesome that Kelly McAllister is donating so many awesome pairs of Maui Jim sunglasses.
she's the
You know,
best.
she's a great partner. So
She
Kelly, that's awesome. They're one of my favorite people to suggest for client giveaways too. So I love that.
Please say hi to Kelly. Where's Kelly? That's not Kelly. No,
Where did she go?
she must have her camera off. Oh, somebody's pawing.
Well, she did tell me that she didn't mind me announcing the winner today. So we have collaborated behind the scenes, and we really are appreciated for all of you guys who dressed up. I will say one of the things that everybody looks great. The thing that kind of put this particular winner over the top for us is that it seems that Scottish is in her blood with her family crest. So I'd like to award Kimberly Bean with a weekend stay at Ross Bridge. So congratulations. All of you are fantastic. We appreciate you. And we do invite you all out. So thank you. But Kimberly will be getting you information. And we loved your coat of arms. It's great. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Kimberly,
Really appreciate it.
Catherine, and anybody else, Nicole, take
Nicole,
pictures of
Candy.
yourselves. Please send them. Candy, yeah, send pictures. We'll put them up. We'll make you famous.
Absolutely.
Congratulations.
In a good way.
In a good
But
way.
you guys, thank you again. Thank you for
Thank
the
you.
opportunity. We hope to welcome you all to Birmingham.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Great.
Awesome.
Thank
Have a
you.
good day.
You
All right.
too.
Bye, guys.
Thank you. Well, that was about as efficient as we've ever had of one of these. It was fantastic. So I did say, Shannon, I did see that Barbara Nindos wanted to know who your DMC is.
Her name is Jennifer Gowers, and she's with a company called GoPro Productions.
Okay.
She's
Okay.
fantastic, and she can actually do a lot more than just that. She can even be on site and host your meeting.
Okay. Okay, great. Well, thank you. Does anybody else have anything for the folks at Ross Bridge, or just for each other before we sign off here? We're a little bit early, but that's okay. Anyone?
Just stay healthy, people.
All right.
Yeah. I just wanted to put in a plug for next week's Wednesday call. We are, I think it's going to be very innovative and very interesting and also super fun. We are calling it the New New York because our host will be Chris Reed, who is the Director of Sales and Marketing for the new Equinox Hotel in New York City in Hudson Yards. So not only is he going to talk about Hudson Yards as a project and as part of the new Lower Manhattan tourism, but as you probably know, Equinox Hotel is owned by the gym company, Equinox Gyms. So he's going to have a health and wellness component. Whitney knows more about the content than I do, but he's going to have a sleep specialist. So if any of you all are having trouble sleeping at night, hopefully we'll have some tips for you, and we're turning it into a slumber party. So wear your PJs, it's fine. Bring your cookies and milk. Kelly will be giving you the best outfit for bed. A pair of sunglasses. I suppose you could wear a workout outfit, but I prefer the PJs and the cookies and milk myself. So stay tuned for that. We're really excited to have Chris, and he's one of a kind. And on Friday, we'll just be having a general conversation on our Friday call. Those of you who were with us last week, we had a great conversation with American Airlines, but would appreciate it if anybody has any topics they'd like to cover on our Friday calls. If you know of a subject matter expert you'd like to hear from on our Friday calls, let me know and we'll see what we can line up. And if anyone has destination ideas for the Wednesday calls, please let me know. We are booking September right now. I think I've got September filled. So we'll be doing these as long as you guys show up. And
Great idea.
I hope you're having as much fun as we are with them.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much. We've recorded today. Kimberly Bean asked if last Friday's calls with United Airlines was recorded, and we were asked not to record that. So I'm sorry if you weren't on it. You missed that, but they will be sending us their presentation deck. So if you want to see that, we'll relay that to you as soon as we get that. Just send me an email and I'll send it out to you. And until Friday, please stay safe, stay healthy, and stay sane.
And Whitney, I wanted to say thank you guys for bringing your movie, book, and food recommendations. I'm going to ask Whitney to pull those things off of the chat box so that we can curate them and put them in the archived flyer on behalf of Shannon and Laura and Jonathan and all the great, visuals of Ross Bridge. We'll also get all of your suggestions on how to celebrate the South. So,
Sounds great.
cheers to that. Thank you, guys.
We will see you on Friday.
See you
Thank
Friday.
you.
everybody.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Carol. Thank you, Whitney.
Thank you.